a conversation with my husband, and I was like, why is it that statistics show that women have a hard time raising up boys to be men, but men statistically can raise girls up to be women? And he said, because men have both chromosomes, X and Y. And so I looked it up, and women only have XX chromosomes, but they have X or Y, determining the sex of the baby. When there's a fertilized egg, we can only contribute an X, but men could contribute an X or Y, which validates the Bible because it says God over man, man over woman, woman over children. So the reason why I think women struggle to raise up boys to be men, and men don't struggle as much to raise up girls to be women, is because when God took the rib out of Adam and made a woman, yes, he made a helpmate for man, but he also made an extension of man. And this is why it says for husbands to wash your wives with the word and present her to yourself, and to see her as your own body, because she is essentially an extension of you.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. I know Clout shared this and it kind of made me think about the conversation we was having last Thursday about science. So go ahead, Clout Jones, introduce this, man. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
Well, I just came across it and I just thought it was interesting. That's why I shared it with the group. But yeah, I thought the scientific explanation she gave was really interesting, where she was saying how, because it is statistically, single fathers, for example, tend to not really have much difficulty raising young women that are productive in society, but then single mothers do tend to have a little bit of difficulty raising young men that are productive. And the chromosome explanation was interesting to me because I think a lot of times women think that we don't experience some of the things that they experience. Like we're that much different from them as far as like being able to experience emotions. But from a male perspective, to me, it feels like we can experience the same things. We just have like this little extra bit that allows us to like control it and navigate it. And I feel like that extra bit is that Y chromosome. So it's like we have all the capacity that comes from the X chromosome, but we also got that little Y chromosome that just gives us a little bit of perspective, which then like you said, justifies the Bible, because it's like we're in that leadership position because that change in chromosome gives us something that women don't have. How we quantify it and define it, that's debatable, but it gives us something that women don't have. So from there, I think that explanation that she gave was extremely interesting.
So I think that when we made the comparison before about how sexual nature manifests in men differently than women, I think the emotions is probably the direct parallel to that. Although they may get horny, they may have horniness. It's never to the level that it becomes like a drug addiction, or it causes you to crash out and do things that are extremely detrimental to yourself, like sex does with men. But on the adverse, emotions will cause women to do things that are negative or destructive to themselves. So I get what you're saying. I just disagree with the part about we feel the same thing as them, but they are able to control it. I think they emotional range is much further, because some of the stuff that they'll go through, we would have been cut them off for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, hell no. Click. You get what I'm saying, Cloud? Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Mm-hmm.
All right. Go ahead, Cookie.
Why'd you come to me? Because I'm just gonna call this bullshit real quick. All right, so first of all, I don't even know why I have to explain this. I learned this in seventh grade. Okay, so let's be for real here. Um, the Y chromosome defines the sex and the parts and what is gonna grow from the fetus. What controls our emotions and how we feel comes from our brain. It's released from a gland in our brain, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the Y chromosome. Um, the only thing that's different is the fact that y'all produce more testosterone than us and are stronger.
Exactly.
Pause. I'm not done. No, I did the chart. I passed this test already.
Good job.
Second of all,
Good job.
the word rib in the Bible was translated wrong. We ain't come from the rib of nobody. If you translate the rib in the original word, I don't know how to pronounce it, but go look it up. I promise it's not a lie. You can kiki all you want. The actual word means half. But obviously, today's society wants to create a book that says, "Oh, you came from a rib. You a rib. You're a helpmate." They did that obviously to keep rank, and I get it. There should be rank. There was rank in my household. I get that. But to be for real, if we really want to dissect this as intellectuals and not idiots believing a real and everything that people say, she's fucking wrong. Then boom, mic drop, whatever.
I think nature goes against that, right? So for example, you can see that in every male and female animal, there's a clear physical difference between the males, and usually that physical difference helps them to serve the purpose that they serve. Usually the purpose is a leadership purpose. From crabs, they have a larger claw in order to be able to protect, fight, and defend. You know, all types of animals, if you go through them, you can clearly see that there's a difference that comes from their sex. So this idea that somehow the brain is influencing the hormones or whatever, I'm not sure how you explained it, but from my understanding of how the body works, the hormones are produced by the gonads, and those hormones affect how your body expresses itself and affects your brain chemistry. That's why we call it brain chemistry, because hormones are chemicals. And
You
men and women
serious?
and men and women, because of the differences in genes, have different brain chemistries and different hormones in their body, which is why we're different. I thought that was basic common sense science. Like, I thought we understood
I
that. So
thought
it's like
that's what I
you're asking me
just
if I'm serious. Like, of
I
course I'm
thought that's just
serious.
what I just that's what I just said. But what I'm saying is, are they serious with the whole believing this and bringing it up and her talking about Y chromosomes and that's why the leadership and da da da
Well,
da. And
again,
I'm
like
sitting
with the
here
point I
telling
was
you
making before, like notice rams have horns, right? And they use those horns to be able to lead the flock and to be able to protect the flock. And why do they have horns? Because they have different genes. They have a Y
no
chromosome,
shit.
which so I don't understand what argument you're making then. What point are you actually
The
contesting
argument
here?
that I'm making is that this is eighth grade science and that no shit, Sherlock. But what I'm saying is when it comes to the actual Y and X chromosome, it determines if you're going to have a penis or a vagina.
Yes, and having a penis
Everything,
or vagina determines your behavior and your sexual expression and your
but
brain
that
chemistry.
happens in your brain. You do know that, right?
I feel like I'm
That's why
talking in
some people
circles.
think they
You understand what I'm
trans,
saying? I'm a land there.
as you should. I passed the SAT with flying colors. I made the
We all
chart.
passed the SATs. That's not an accomplishment.
Okay,
You're
well,
talking about the
then
SATs.
act
Well,
like
you're
it
like
when you're
40
talking
talking about
about
the
X
SATs. Come
Y.
on.
When you're talking about X Y, act like you passed it
Because
then,
clearly
because
I
you're
don't have an
wrong.
understanding on it.
And
Clearly
the
you don't have
girl
an
with
understanding
and
on
the
it.
girl in the video wrong as
Again,
well.
like I said, for
You
those who
don't
don't
even know
understand,
that the Bible
like I
says
said,
the
for those
rib.
who don't
That's not
understand
even what that
biology, the
means.
Y chromosome determines your sex organs. Your sex organs determine the hormones that are in your body. The
That
hormones
ain't
that are in
about
your
the brain.
body determine your brain chemistry and your sexual expression and your
And
physical body. So
what
everything I
chemicals
said
that you put out.
consistently stands. I don't understand what you're arguing here. You're wasting time.
No, that real is a waste of time when we learned this in eighth grade if you pass the SAT.
All right, go ahead, Trey.
Horrible selection.
Yeah, first off, shout out to Homegirl because she made a complete 180. I don't know if y'all know the history of her, but she used to back in the day through like OF and all that, but now she's with somebody for a long period, and she comes out with videos like this a lot. So
Hold on. So what was the catalyst? You found a man?
extremely likely. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it happens, right?
Yeah, that's
Found a
that's
man
kind of
and
how
you
that's kind of how it happens.
get corrected. Yeah.
So I don't want to get too crazy into the science. I think between country and clout, they've made the argument, so that's fine. But I mean, we've seen these results statistically that men we're just equipped with certain things, right? And I think one of the main things that it is that men do is just that discipline and that structure, which a lot of times is lacking. There are some women who do a great job at it, right? We've seen some great products from single mothers. You could say Obama, you could say Jay-Z, you could say LeBron James. It happens. But those are all outliners. In general, men do a fantastic job at raising children. The ones who are doing that, they do a great job at it. And it's just the way we're wired. We know how to do shit. Like that's just what it is. We do this. And a lot of it is, I think it's just us understanding the logic of it, just understanding cause and effect, and being more methodical about it. That's how I feel about it. I see some a couple faces around them, but
Well, I
that's
will
my
say
opinion.
I will say on the upbringing of the children for the man, since it's close to what we've already spoke on, there's many things, but I'm gonna just consistently stay on what's been already brought up. When we're taking care of children, you know, we handle our traumas better. You know, we're able to heal more efficiently to where we can move on in life and give the kids the life that they deserve or the life that we want them to have. Women, however, they're a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more emotional, so they get trapped in their trauma a lot of times and they kind of get stagnant and they come into relationships fragmented. So you got to understand how trying to find love and trying to find a relationship and still raise a child can be kind of difficult for a woman. So maybe the point I'm making, it kind of correlates to what you were saying as far as men being able to raise women more effectively. And that's just related to the points that we've already touched on. There's many, like I said, there's many other things. The thing about the Bible, I mean, I read the Bible. That's coming from my principles and standards. So I'm gonna stand on business. That's 100%. And if any woman on this panel who disagreed, and you come from a man and a woman of marriage who came from those standards, and you ain't married, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself that you're not married and you're not carrying the traditions that your parents carry, and you deviating. That's a devilish behavior in my book. But who am I? That's my opinion, and I'll yield.
All right, let me get to
I had a
Aisha.
question.
Hold on, she'll never come right next to you. Hold on. Go, Aisha.
I actually agree with Cookie. I think that it's two separate things, and I think that saying that your brain is in control or your emotions and your sex, that's two different things. That's like saying sex and love is the same thing, and it's not. That's just how I feel. There's an X and there's a Y, and I don't know, because there's also animals that are in the wild where the woman dominates. So it just depends on how you look at it. Like women ruled England for how many years? So I don't think that one thing has anything to do with the other.